Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video. This is episode number 331 right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel as always. It is red hot outside. It is over 100 degrees here in Southern California, and hopefully SummerSlam this year will be red hot. Coming off Monday Night Raw with what some might say was a hot wardrobe malfunction by Brie Bella. I'll get to more of that in a minute. Some people might say it was Raw is Daniel Bryan, a very Daniel Bryan heavy oriented show. Got a lot of questions here regarding Raw and other topics, so let's get right down to it. First one today comes from WWE Fan 5, and he wants his opinion to be known. Hey Aaron, what did you think of Raw? Last week's Raw was one of the best of the year, and now I think that this one was one of the worst. It was just pointless for the most part, and that stupid Miz TV segment was torture, but I love the Daniel Bryan matches. I thought Raw was a very good show. I don't know why you thought it was one of the worst Raws of the year. As far as the Miz TV segment goes, it wasn't pointless because they were actually trying to build up to the Total Divas show, which is debuting on E! So there was a purpose behind that segment, even if it felt like filler. There actually was a reason for it. And of course it had what is now the infamous Brie Bella nipple slip, the wardrobe malfunction, which was quite funny because WWE was not happy about it at all. It was not PG, and they had her issue an apology, and nobody's mad at her besides WWE. Everybody was happy about the nipple slip. Oh my God, it's a nipple. So that was kind of funny. But I mean, the rest of Raw, I thought it was a very good show. I thought that WWE did a tremendous job building up Daniel Bryan for SummerSlam. I loved the whole gauntlet thing with him, and especially the match with Antonio Cesaro. I thought that was a terrific match. Really good stuff from those two, and I think that match will not only do Daniel Bryan a lot, but also do a lot for Antonio Cesaro in terms of getting him noticed by management in WWE. I thought that was just an excellent Raw TV match, and no real problems with the show. I mean, I thought it was very entertaining overall. So, I guess some people didn't like it, but I think that it was definitely a thumbs up show in terms of building up SummerSlam and getting Daniel Bryan over as a credible challenger to John Cena. Not that he wasn't already. Alright, this one comes from Scoop19. Big Show was supposed to be at Raw. How come it wasn't shown? Well, I think WWE jumped the gun with hyping up Big Show's return. The fact is, Big Show is still recovering from injury and isn't exactly ready to go yet. And I actually think it's for the best that they hold off Big Show coming back. I mean, you already have the SummerSlam card shaping up, and there's no need to bring back Big Show and have him get lost in the shuffle. So it's best to let the guy completely heal up from his injury and be 100% rather than bring him back too soon when you already got your SummerSlam card in place, and he would just end up getting lost in the shuffle. So, I'm just hoping that they don't bring him back in a couple months and he ends up like the next Brodus Clay, comes out in a wacky outfit singing and dancing. So, hopefully WWE doesn't continue that pattern of hyping up somebody's return and then they don't come back, and then eventually they just come back as a totally different character. So, as long as they don't do that, I'm fine with them holding off Big Show's return. Alright, this one comes from John316, and his letters are all funky here, with a capital, a 0 for an O, and, with the 3s instead of E's. Hey Aaron, what did you think about Brad Maddox as GM? I think he has good charisma and the mic skills to back it up. And do you think him as a GM will last long? Well, the word that comes to mind when I think of Brad Maddox is wacky, but I mean, I think so far he's been a good wacky, not like a Mike Adamle wacky where the guy has no place on the show and it's just a train wreck. I think that Brad Maddox is fairly good on the mic, and at least it's something different. I mean, I prefer something different over the usual Vicky Guerrero stuff, although she's right back on Smackdown now as the GM. I think she would have been better off as a manager, like perhaps doing something with Ryback, but whatever. at least it's something different with Brad Maddox. So, you know, I have no issue with it so far. Although I have to say that the whole drum roll thing every week is starting to get on my nerves. But, I mean, that's just a pet peeve of mine. Just nitpicking. All right, this one comes from Drat Now. Hey, Aaron, in your opinion, has Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, have they achieved Hall of Fame worthy careers? Well, I think in CM Punk's case, absolutely. He's already at that Hall of Fame level. The longest reigning WWE champion, 434 days, whatever it is. Longest reigning champion of the past 25 years. So, I mean, that right there will make him a Hall of Famer. And as far as Daniel Bryan goes, I am absolutely certain he will get to that level. I don't think he's quite there yet. But, you know, a WWE title win over John Cena would definitely put him in the running. And he's only got several years left ahead of him. He's got plenty of time, and he's already on his way. So, I mean, I think when it's all said and done, both guys will absolutely be in the WWE Hall of Fame. All right, this one comes from STate01. Hey, Aaron, with Daniel Bryan being the most over in WWE today, do you think that Bryan would be able to carry the company like John Cena? Please answer in video. Well, I don't think that Daniel Bryan is ever going to be the guy that WWE builds the entire company around. I mean, he's not Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior or John Cena. You know, Daniel Bryan will probably go down as a guy like Shawn Michaels, who will be highly regarded in the ring and being one of the best workers of his era. But I don't think he's ever going to be the top draw, the guy that is on the marquee for every WrestleMania, and you know, the guy that is selling the most merchandise. Although I think at this point he's getting close to John Cena when it comes to the merchandise levels. So I mean, I definitely think that Daniel Bryan will be the number 2, number 3 guy in WWE at some point. I mean, right now I would put him in number 4 after CM Punk and Orton, but I mean, he's right there. You know, if you have your top 4 in WWE, I would say it's Cena, CM Punk, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. So I think that he is at the point now where he will be one of the top guys in WWE for years to come. But yeah, I don't think he will ever be the number 1 guy. I mean, I just don't see that happening. All right, another question here from WWE Fan 5. Hey Aaron, what did you think of Survivor Series 2000? Of course, he has to have his opinion here. I thought it was a pretty disappointing pay-per-view besides 2 matches, Rikishi versus The Rock and Steve Austin versus Triple H. I agree with you on this. I think that Survivor Series 2000 was a mediocre pay-per-view overall. Rikishi versus The Rock, the whole Rikishi heel turn was a bust, and that match was just okay. Steve Austin versus Triple H, you know, didn't really have a decisive finish. They ended up brawling outside to the parking lot, and you know, it was the entertaining moment where Steve Austin had Triple H in the limo, and he picked it up with a forklift and then dropped it, and you thought Triple H was dead, but of course he came back 2 weeks later without a scratch. You know, I liked the Kurt Angle. I know I'm going to get some mail here or responses. I think he wrestled Undertaker. I didn't look up the card before I answered this question, which I should have. I should always do my research before I answer these questions, and I didn't. I think he wrestled Undertaker. I know that his brother Eric interfered in the match, and I thought that that was a really cool finish to have his look-alike brother. They look very similar. Interfere in the match and help Angle retain the title. And I think a few years later, he came back in an angle with Brock Lesnar leading up to WrestleMania 19. So, you know, I actually thought that was the most entertaining thing about that Survivor Series. But yeah, besides that, I don't remember the card, and I just thought it could have been a better show. I mean, I should be able to remember everything on the pay-per-view when it's one of the big 4 of the year. I should be able to remember this stuff without having to look it up. But the fact that I can't remember it, I mean, that should really tell you all you need to know. All right, last question today comes from Tony2Fly. What was your favorite feud from Smackdown and Raw from 2009? Mine would have to be Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk and DX versus Legacy. Well, I'm not so sure I would agree with you on DX versus Legacy. I think that DX's return at SummerSlam was very cool. The match itself at SummerSlam, I could take it or leave it. They had a Hell in the Cell match, which, from what I remember, one of the guys, I'm not sure if it was Shawn or Triple H, one of them was incapacitated and it was 2-on-1, and then finally the other guy came down. I mean, the feud was okay, but didn't really do any favors for Legacy, didn't really elevate them to the next level, so I wouldn't call that feud a huge success. And this was when DX was in their PG mode, and wasn't the best of DX. Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, on the other hand, I thought was absolutely the feud of the year, and that feud really elevated CM Punk as a top heel in WWE, and really got him to the main event level, because before that, it felt like he was a mid-carder holding the world title. But by the time that feud with Jeff Hardy was over, I think that CM Punk had gotten himself to the next level, at least to the upper mid-card, close to the main event. Wouldn't be until 2011 with that pipe bomb where he really got to the main event level. But, I mean, he was getting close at this point. And, the segment where he came out dressed as Jeff Hardy, I thought was hilarious. And the other feud I want to mention is Jericho versus Rey Mysterio. I thought that was a tremendous feud, and that would be my number 2 next to Jeff Hardy and CM Punk. The whole feud with the mask, Jericho trying to unmask Rey Mysterio. I thought that was great stuff. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A Video. I'm going to be doing a new video series once a week on Wednesdays. It will be WCW Wednesdays. Enough of this Woman Crush Wednesdays hashtag. We're bringing back World Championship Wrestling every Wednesday on NoDQ.com. So I'm going to have one topic for every show. It'll be once a week, every Wednesday. And I might read off some tweets and talk about some various other topics. So let me know what you think about WCW. Any thoughts you have about WCW, tweet me, twitter.com/NoDQ, DOTCOM, or twitter.com/AaronRift, and use the WCW hashtag. So when people click on WCW hashtags on Wednesday, it will not be about Women Crush Wednesday. It will be about World Championship Wrestling, as it should be, in my humble opinion. So WCW Wednesdays starting tomorrow. Subscribe. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest news and rumors regarding SummerSlam. See you next time.